Hello, this is Neil, the top art instructor at udemy.com, and also you can find me at masterpaintingnow.com. And in this video, I'm going to be showing you how to draw properly t-shirts and comic books. Now, oftentimes you'll see when they draw t-shirts on like superheroes, they really exaggerate the form, and it becomes almost like the clothing is painted on to the anatomy, basically as if they're wearing a latex t-shirt or something like that. But it's only latex like in this area where the breasts are, which doesn't make a whole lot of sense. So in this video, I'm going to show you with the small breasts and big breasts, it's kind of how it changes the dynamics of the shirt a little bit. Basically, so the t-shirt, first off, wraps around the neck. So you got to think about that. And it wraps around the arms and around the hips. So when you draw it, you want to draw it to where it wraps around the figure. I'm going to go ahead and start with the smaller breasted female here and make sure I got the right layer. I'm going to make a new layer on top of this layer, and I'm actually going to turn this layer down just a little bit in opacity so it makes it easier to see as I'm drawing the t-shirt on top of the anatomy. I'm going to mark this, I'm going to make this layer have a color to it, and I'm just going to go with purple. It's just a thing in my brain to know that, hey, I'm drawing on this layer. So the first thing you want to do is, again, like I said, keep the anatomy in mind. So we'll go over the collar and all that kind of stuff in a second. But first, the thing that people really mess up is the breast area. They really want to make the breast almost seem like again, like they're just breast hanging there rather than actually having a material over them. So you have from the side view, if you have this breast coming here, you got to think about you have two breasts, right? We'll do a semi side view. Two breasts here, and the shirt is going between these two objects, right? So it's kind of coming in a little bit and it's coming out. And so to think about this, if you think about the if you're looking at it from the upward cage, like the rib cage comes up like this. If you're looking at it like this, then you see the breast mounted like this. I'm going to mount onto the rib cage here like this. This is from if you're looking down from the top down. The t-shirt's going to come over like this and to kind of dip down and stretch like this. This is kind of the look you're going to get. You're going to get that all the way throughout, and then underneath of it, and then you'll have some wrinkles, coming here, depending on the shirt, and coming down, so forth, right? And then the rest of the shirt won't be able to see. You might be able to see a little bit of the neck up here, but you won't see any more of the shirt because the breasts are blocking your view. This is important. This dip right here is important. And again, you see the outside mound, and you see this dip right here, but you don't see this whole entire fleshy part of the breast. Again, unless they're wearing some type of latex or something like that, you're not going to be able to see all that. That is a spray-on type of shirt. Right, so keep that in mind. Keep the anatomy in mind, and then keep the fabric in mind that's going over the anatomy. So from here, we know that we'll have probably some different, well, first off, we might have the line here, the type of sew line here, in here like that, just to kind of separate that. We'll come in, we'll make the collar kind of like a typical collar like this right here. We can even attach that to anatomy as well, kind of coming, kind of dipping in and coming over that bump right there, and kind of dipping in like this, and coming and wrapping around. And there's going to be a little bit of texture coming outside of the body there, like so. That's going to come around and make the shirt and the sleeves, we're going to make the sleeves kind of crop sleeves like this here. Now it's important also the sleeves wrap around. We'll get that in a second. For now, I'm just going to kind of add like this. As the t-shirt comes up here, you might have a couple little wrinkles where the breast and arm meet for the shirt. You will be able to see this entire line coming down here and represented like this. So all of that of the breast part, you will see the shirt because that part of the breast is pushing the shirt out to the side. What you're not going to see though is this entire breast right here. You're not going to see this entire shape here in here like that. You're not going to see that. The shirt's going to cover some of that. Now even if they're wearing a really tight shirt, it's still being stretched and taut between the breasts as the breasts are protruding away from the rib cage. Even if they're, maybe if it's kind of like a wet shirt and it's really very thin t-shirt and it's totally sticking in between the breasts, then you'll see like the actual shape and mounds of the breast. And depending on how thin the t-shirt material is and how big the breasts are, you might be able to see more of the breast kind of pushing through, but most of that is seen through shadow. So as far as inking is concerned, what I like to do is just come down with the breast and then come across like this. And with this one, just kind of cut in just a little bit. And then maybe even have another line or something coming right up, just right above it. Now all this right here, this underplane is going to be shadow. And what I like to do is, let's just, for now, we'll use a pencil and just kind of underline this right here. And this right here is all going to be shadow. Now that's something that the colorist would do and not the inker, but like that. But just to give an idea of what you'd be able to see and what you wouldn't be able to see with the anatomy. And then you have a couple of wrinkles coming off the edge here, and it can come down. It all depends on the angle of the body. Is the body twisting? Is the body moving? Anything like that. Let's say this goes down and covers the belly button, and let's say the shirt comes down to somewhere around here. Now again, remember, the shirt is wrapping around a form, and so it's going to kind of come like this as it wraps around that form. Right, you see that gap right there, so it actually has like a three-dimensionality to it. There might be a couple wrinkles in here that you might want to represent. Again, with comic books, you want too much detail. Remember, you got to draw that detail each and every time. Maybe we'll come with one wrinkle across like that. And the rest of it maybe is kind of bunched up here just a little bit, a couple little wrinkles. But for the most part, let's say it's for the rest, it's like that. Finally, the arm, it kind of comes around the arm. So same thing with the hips, you want to come around the arm a little bit like so. So it wants to stop at the arm and then come around the arm. The base idea is this: is you want a little bit like that and then stop at the arm. So it looks like it's coming around the arm. So it comes down like this, like it's coming around the arm, and you have your cut here. Just make a very thin line to kind of indicate that there is a seam there. And you might want to draw a couple more wrinkles within that if you want to. And now as I click off, you can see the shirt there. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring this anatomy up fully. I'm going to make a copy of this layer, make the other one invisible, just in case I decide to draw on that again. That way I have a copy of it. Now I'm going to come in here, I'm going to delete, erase everything in here. That's not the t-shirt itself. That way all we're seeing are the lines of the t-shirt. This gets rid of any sort of anatomy or anything like that was inside of it, like so. So now you can see you have the t-shirt there. Now sometimes what people will do is maybe draw just a thin line. Go back to my color here. A very thin line, like right where the breasts would normally be coming out like this and here and here. Depending on how big the breasts are, there's a gap in here that you can sometimes see with shadow. Now oftentimes that's, again, the job of the colorist, but just in case you kind of want to remind the colorist, you can kind of add a couple lines like that. And that just gives the idea that, okay, yeah, there are breasts there, but you can see just with the line work alone, there are breasts there, and it's being pulled taut across here. Now the geometry might be that it comes down like this and like that, like the geometry of the shadowing. If you were to shadow this whole entire thing, and then it kind of comes, down like that underneath. So here you'd have a little bit of shadow as you're coloring, and obviously on the underneath plane. And this is where the light's mainly hitting, depending on what angle the light's coming from. And that's going to give you the idea of the geometry. So, but you can't really necessarily draw that. I mean, you can kind of come like this and just kind of hint at, with maybe a couple of wrinkles like this, hint at where the breasts are, but it doesn't look right. It looks weird. So I recommend, if you're going to try to hint at that, do it with the shadowing and coloring. But I personally wouldn't even do it that way. So next up is, how does this change with big breasts? Now, interesting enough, the t-shirt doesn't really change much. We can actually copy this t-shirt, since I also copied the breasts are almost this. When I drew the small breast versus big breast, all I changed was the breast. I erased the small breast and I just drew the breast hanging down a little bit farther, a little bit bigger. That's really all that changes, depending on, of course, the breast type and things like that. But usually that's all that changes. So we can actually take this shirt and pluck it right over here, and you're going to see the only thing that changes is the anatomy of the breast. And so now we can take the layer, make sure we're on the right layer here, bring this down below. I'm going to turn that down so you can see the anatomy. I'm going to make a copy of this just in case I want to draw on that figure again. For now, I'm going to go ahead and erase this. I just turned it to transparent. This is Manga Studio 5, also known as Clip Studio Paint now. They changed their name. I'm going to get rid of the anatomy. Actually, I'm going to leave the anatomy there for a second. I'm going to go back to the t-shirt here. I'm going to get rid of all the anatomy right here. Not anatomy, but the actual t-shirt itself that fits around the anatomy. We're going to get rid of all that because we're going to redraw the shirt going over the larger breast. So what you do is pretty much the same thing. You just want to keep in mind that outer anatomy there, add a couple wrinkles there, and the breast comes right over. Now here's where sometimes I might actually come up just a little bit to kind of show some of the, and then kind of curve in like that. And then this side here, I'm going to come like right about there, maybe a couple lines, maybe an extra line like right here. And then that's pretty much the only thing that's different. Really everything else is the same. You can see I'm doing the exact same thing as I did before. And then I might, sometimes if you want to really hint at this right here, maybe you can get rid of this line right here, and instead you can do a line like, you can do a couple lines like in this area right here, kind of just showing that anatomy. You can even come with a line that comes like this and kind of shows the anatomy a little bit, and you can make it a lot thinner. And that right there shows the anatomy a little bit more of the contours of the breast. Now that's not necessary to do all that. It's not a natural wrinkle. You can try to represent that more with the like even this right here isn't natural wrinkles in the shirt, right? It just doesn't work. I'd recommend showing that. You can maybe add an extra one like this, but anyway, again, I recommend showing that with the anatomy of the coloring and not with the ink work. All right, now we're going to go and we're going to make the layer visible of the figure, and then we're going to go to transparent, a little bit bigger of a brush here, and go through and erase all the anatomy underneath it. All right, and there we have it. So you can see the idea isn't much different between a bigger breasted woman and a smaller breasted woman. And this is what I recommend, how I recommend drawing the t-shirt. Actually, I think I forgot to erase that name right there. It really does, it sells the idea that, yeah, the breasts are there. And naturally, when a woman has a t-shirt on, you can't really tell that she is this big breasted when she has a t-shirt on than if she had like a bikini top on or something like that. And that's like, we can't really tell a huge difference between these two, but you can tell the difference. Lastly, I'm going to take that pencil again. I'm just going to kind of draw in the underside. Oh, I'm on transparent. Okay, that's why I was like, why am I not drawing here? And I'm just going to kind of do the underside here. And if you want, you could, if you're inking this, you can even add a little bit of shadow right in there. You can even add it all the way through right here. Just have a little bit of shadow like that. And what this does is it kind of shows more of the figure of the breast, and you kind of color and kind of show. And then you can add even a little bit darker areas where the breast more and coming down like that and so forth. You can add all these different kind of wrinkles in here and some of the shadow for them. Most likely the drop shadow is not going to be, the breast won't have a drop shadow onto the shirt, and that, unless the breasts are like, the shirt gets kind of tucked underneath the breast and the breasts kind of fall down, they create like a crease right here. Then you might have a little bit of drop shadow. Other than that, you're most likely not going to have a drop shadow at all for the breast. So let's say the light's kind of coming from the top right hand side, you might get something like that there. Some of this more might be, covered because the light can't get, it depends how high, but if the light's more facing toward us, not directly above her head, in proportion. So like if you have her here, if the light is more like this and it's shining down on her like that, then you're gonna get more something like this. But if the light were more directly above her head like this, then you'd have more shadow in this area like this, because the breast, with the whole entire shirt breast part would block that, almost like a shape like this. It's coming out and the light's coming straight down. It's going to not hit this part right here, and so it's going to create a shadow like that. Hopefully that makes sense. I deal with form and lighting and shadow and stuff for everything, not just the human figure, in my Discover How to Draw and Paint Comics course. So to check that course out, you go to masterpaintingnow.com, and right now I have it on sale, I think, for $10. So it's a really good deal. Normally it's like close to $100. It's really long. A course, it's actually a combination of several courses all into one course, but it teaches the first part of the course is all the fundamentals on shading and form, on making things look three-dimensional and how to do that with lighting and how lighting works and all that good stuff. So it's fantastic perspective, everything. So really, really good. And then it goes into a bunch of other stuff too. So if you want to learn how to paint with Photoshop and stuff like that, and learn how to draw the figure, it has a lot of other things within the course. If you just want to learn how to draw the figure itself, or clothing themselves, or clothing itself, I think the best one I had that really kind of goes into clothing would be either my pinup course, believe it or not. It actually is great for everything, for learning how to draw the figure, at least for female figures and hair and all that kind of stuff. But also my how to draw manga figures, I think, has something about drawing clothes a little bit. I have a couple videos on here. So one thing you do is click on my name. So beneath this video, click on Learn to Draw. That takes you to my channel's homepage. Now on my channel's homepage, there'll be a search icon. I believe it's kind of like that or something. It's right next to About. Click on the search icon. That allows you to search, here, hold on a second. Right, so beneath the video, you click on Learn to Draw. Again, that'll take you to my channel's homepage. On the channel homepage, click on this little search icon right here. Then type in whatever you want, like let's say clothes. You can also type in folds, I think, type in folds, I think that'll come up with other stuff. And as you can see here, I have some videos here on drawing clothes and also on drawing armor, and there's a couple others there, as you can see as well. So yeah, anyway, check that out. That's how you can search my channel for individual things. If you type in folds here, I think it might come up with different, it looks like it might be the same videos. Oh yeah, maybe there's more like this one. I don't know if that one was there before. A couple other ones, I think maybe that's a playlist, looks like. But anyway, so I do have a few on there, but yeah, I do plan on coming out with a fashion design course. Basically, is how to design, well, not fashion design, but fashion for comic design. So how to design clothes and how to draw clothes and everything for your comic books. But anyway, until then, you have some free stuff there that you can check out. And I do have a pretty, like I said, pretty extensive thing on how to draw clothes in those courses I mentioned before. The pinups course, at least for female clothes, and also clothes in general, just like a lot of general rules. And then also, and I believe in my manga course, my anime, how to draw anime and manga people. And that's all on my website, masterpaintingnow.com. All right, thanks for watching. If you guys enjoyed this and this helped you at all, I'm sure others will also be helped by it as well. So please hit that share button or copy and paste the link and share it with all your favorite social networks. And hit the like button and leave a comment. That's awesome. I love feedback. And then if you want to see, what you might want to see next in my future lessons. And then also, if you really feel like you want to subscribe, but YouTube just seems like they don't like me very much, I recommend instead going to, you could subscribe as well, but I recommend going to masterpaintingnow.com and then clicking on the newsletter link and then signing up for the newsletter. I don't send out newsletters hardly ever, but whenever I come out with a new lesson that I feel is cool and worthy, then I'll send out a newsletter saying, hey, here it is. And that's just to be sure that you stay in tune with when I come out with a new drawing lesson. I use this particular YouTube channel for more than just drawing stuff. I always have. Occasionally I'll come out with different stuff. So just keep that in mind. So if you do subscribe to it and only expect drawing only stuff, this channel does have other stuff on it that I come out with, like physics and things like that. But if you want just the drawing content, then and you definitely want to be notified when I come out with a new video for drawing content, definitely sign up to the newsletter at masterpaintingnow.com. Like I said, I hardly ever use it. You're not going to get spam from me. You'd be lucky to get one, once a month from me, honestly. But at least then you know, oh yeah, I remember that. I wanted to see more stuff from that guy. That's the easiest way to do it. All right, again, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this.